Every single day, millions of us do the same tiny thing without a second thought. We buy a coffee, pump gas, or pay for groceries, and someone hands us a receipt. You fold it, slide it in your wallet, or toss it in a bag next to your food. But some receipts are coated with chemicals that react to heat. Today, we're asking, are receipts actually coated with hormone-disrupting chemicals? First, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. Most modern cash register receipts are not like regular paper printed with liquid ink. Instead, they are made from thermal paper. This paper contains a special heat-sensitive chemical coating. When the thermal print head gets hot, it triggers a reaction that makes the black text appear instantly. This technology is incredibly fast and cheap, but it leaves chemical coatings sitting loosely right on the surface of the paper. For many years, the most common developer in that thermal coating was bisphenol A, better known as BPA. While BPA is also used to make hard polycarbonate plastics or epoxy linings inside food cans, its role in receipts is very different. Here, it is not locked deep inside a hard plastic matrix. Instead, it sits loose on the surface, making thermal receipts a highly unusual and direct source of chemical skin exposure. When we hear the phrase hormone-disrupting chemical, it can sound vague or exaggerated. But your endocrine system is actually quite simple. Your hormones act as chemical messengers that regulate growth, metabolism, mood, and development. An endocrine-disrupting chemical is a substance that can interfere with this delicate signaling. It might mimic a hormone, block a hormone receptor, or change how your body naturally produces and breaks down these essential chemical messengers. BPA has been studied for decades because it can interact with estrogen-related pathways. This does not mean touching a single receipt will suddenly make you sick. Real medical risk always depends on the specific chemical, the dose, and your route of exposure. However, because the BPA on thermal paper is powdery and unbound, it creates a unique dermal contact pathway that scientists have had to examine closely. This exposure risk looks different for everyone. A casual shopper who touches one receipt for 2 seconds is not facing the same situation as a cashier handling hundreds of receipts during an active shift. For retail workers, handling receipts is not a rare event. It is an occupational exposure. The potential danger multiplies when we consider how typical daily habits can alter how our skin absorbs these chemical developers. In 2014, researchers published a key study in PLOS ONE, analyzing 50 thermal receipts from local stores, bars, and restaurants. The results were stark. 44% of the receipts contained high levels of BPA, while 52% contained BPS. Only a tiny fraction used some other developer. This meant that nearly every single thermal receipt tested relied on a bisphenol-based chemical developer to make the print visible. But the study went further to test real-world scenarios. Researchers wanted to know how much BPA actually transfers to human skin when handling thermal receipts. They tested 2 specific conditions: touching receipt paper with completely dry hands and touching it when hands were still wet with hand sanitizer. This is a critical distinction because sanitizers, lotions, and soaps often contain dermal penetrants that can alter our skin's natural protective barrier. The findings were remarkable. When hands were wet with hand sanitizer, chemical transfer from the receipt paper increased dramatically. After just 15 seconds, significant amounts of BPA were recovered from the skin. At 60 seconds, the amount recovered from sanitizer wet hands was reported to be 185 times higher than from dry hands. This reveals a very realistic scenario. You sanitize your hands, grab a receipt, and eat fast food. As public concern over BPA grew, companies looked for alternatives. Soon, shoppers began demanding products with the reassuring label BPA-free. But BPA-free does not automatically mean bisphenol-free. Because manufacturers still needed a chemical developer that reacts to heat, they often turned to closely related compounds in the exact same chemical family. The most common substitute used to replace BPA in thermal receipts is BPS, or bisphenol S. Are these bisphenol replacements actually safer? A 2015 systematic review in Environmental Health Perspectives evaluated 32 separate studies on BPS and BPF. The researchers reviewed both cell-based and animal research. Their final conclusion was not comforting. BPS and BPF were hormonally active in ways similar to BPA. They showed clear endocrine disrupting effects, interacting with hormone receptors, much like the chemical they replaced. This pattern is what toxicologists and environmental scientists call a regrettable substitution. When a chemical becomes unpopular due to scientific scrutiny, the industry replaces it with a closely related chemical cousin. This cousin has less bad publicity, but often possesses the exact same biological activity. The label BPA-free answers whether BPA is present, but it fails to answer the much more important question: what exactly replaced it? To keep this in perspective, we must avoid panic. For the general public, the largest source of BPA exposure has historically come from our diet, such as canned food linings or packaging plastics. However, thermal receipts present a very different exposure path. Touching a receipt places unbound, highly concentrated chemicals directly onto our fingers, where they can be absorbed through the skin or accidentally transferred straight onto the food we eat. This direct skin contact is particularly significant for retail workers, cashiers, and restaurant staff. These individuals handle receipts continuously throughout their workdays. For them, this is a repeated occupational exposure. The risk of chemical absorption rises significantly if they use hand sanitizers or lotions frequently, handle paper with wet or oily hands, or eat during their shifts without washing their hands first. This concern is why regulatory bodies are shifting their stances. In 2023, the European Food Safety Authority reevaluated BPA exposure and dramatically lowered its tolerable daily intake, citing potential impacts on the immune system. While this doesn't prove every receipt is a hazard, it shows how seriously scientific agencies now view low-level, cumulative exposure. If we are exposed to bisphenols from food and dust, why add receipts? Recent testing shows that the receipt issue has not disappeared, it has simply changed form. In 2025, the Center for Environmental Health reported high levels of BPS in receipts tested from major retailers, leading to legal notices under California's Proposition 65. This highlights that BPS remains widespread in thermal paper. BPA-free paper continues to rely on BPS, showing that we have not yet transitioned to truly safer, phenol-free alternatives. You can easily minimize your exposure with a few simple, non-panicky habits. First, decline paper receipts when you don't need them, or opt for digital email receipts. Second, if you must take a receipt, avoid holding the printed side for long periods. Third, never store receipts in bags with unpackaged food. Fourth, wash your hands before eating after touching thermal paper. Fifth, let hand sanitizer or lotion dry completely before handling receipts. Finally, keep receipts away from children and do not recycle them, as they can contaminate recycled paper streams. We must move past the binary perception of safe versus toxic and evaluate the cumulative, quiet exposure from everyday items. The label BPA-free often acts as a marketing shield for regrettable substitutions, showing that personal awareness and system-wide change are key to addressing everyday chemical exposure. Subscribe to Curious Lab, and let's keep asking what everyday life is really made of.